Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to share with you my Cyber Dragon deck profile with the improvements, or should I say changes, because of the Cyber style structure deck. Now this is a really cool, gimmicks that they're trying to do with the Cyberdarks and the Cyber Dragons kind of combining together, which I felt it was really fun to try at least once. Not sure if it's the playstyle that I really 100% want for the time being, but, for now, let's at least try it and see how that works for us. Basically, this is the list that I have to present for you, and I hope you enjoy it. Maybe you will have a little bit more of a suggestion to me how to make the list better, or even just going to say to me that this is not the best of engines, but like I said, I just want to at least try that out at least once. But before we jump right into the video itself, basically, if you want to see more videos like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Give a like if you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments down below how do you think we should improve a list, or just in general questions and stuff like that that you want to know. But that's out of the way, we now can jump into the deck profile of Cyber Dragons. Alright, so before we jump right into the list itself, one last thing I want to say is that this deck does include, as you probably can see, the Cyberdark engine, which I really want to just try out to see if that works. If it doesn't work, I'll just go back into something else, but for now, I think it will be really fun to see how the deck functions. But to start things off with the Cyber Dragon stuff, as always, we're going to start things off with the 3 copies of the original Cyber Dragon, 3 copies, obviously, of Core, 3 copies of Hertz, double copies of Naster, and then the 1 copy of Veer, which these 2 cards I am considering cutting down for 2 additional hand traps or consistency cards, but for now, these are doing their job. Now, in the case of Cyber Dragon himself, doesn't really need any explanation. This is Cyber Dragon, is like the core of the deck. Core is basically your searcher for your spells and traps, and it also is a card that you sometimes use as effect in the graveyard if your opponent break your board. So you can just banish this, special summon this, and then this will allow you to start games again, so that's why you also like to run this card at 2. Hertz is mostly used for its effect when it's sent to the graveyard to basically get either a Cyber Dragon from your deck or any of these names from the graveyard. Naster is just your other 2 copies of, I guess, Galaxy Soldier, which is also a Monster Reborn, and Veer is your Chain Blocker. So this is a Monster Reborn for any machine monster with 2100 attack or defense, which is really strong. But mostly the idea is that this card is kind of like working, like I said, like a Galaxy Soldier. It's pretty good, but you don't want to have this card at 3. Sometimes I want this card at 1, and sometimes I don't want this card at all. But I felt like a Chain Blocker is just really nice, especially right now. But, it is what it is. Change things however you feel like it for the Cyber Dragons. Then, for the other monster that we run in the deck, like I said, we run the Cyberdark stuff. So we run the Cyberdark package with 2 Claws, 1 Chimera. And then for the honorary Cyber Dragon stuff, we run 3 copies of Galaxy Soldier, and then the 1 copy of Jizakiro. These cards are searchable by Cyber Repair Plant. You only need to run this lineup. Galaxy Soldier as a 3 is just too cloggy, and Jizakiro is just your searchable Kaiju. However, these 2, or should I say these 3 cards, Claw is here to be discarded to search your Cyberdark spells and traps, which, spoiler, I only run 3 names, which we'll get to them, so that's why you only need to run 2. Because I don't really want to run way too many copies of these, because they will become cloggy, so that's why I only run 2 Claw. Then we have Chimera, which is the new card that basically makes the deck works around Power Bond. When this card is normal special summon, you can discard, or should I say, like, you can activate this card effect to discard, not when it's a normal special summon, just generally. You can activate this card effect to basically discard any spell and trap from your hand, and then you get to add a Power Bond from your deck to your hand. And then you're also getting to basically, you can only use Dragon or Machine Cyber monsters for fusion materials for the turn after you activate this effect, and while after this effect was resolved, you get to basically fusion summon also using your graveyard as material, even with Power Bond, which is really cool. So this is kind of like a combination of Power Bond and Overload Fusion, which making this card really, really powerful. So that's why we're on this card at 1. You only need the 1, you just need to see the Power Bond 1 to win. Sometimes, like, in Game 2 and 3, I'm probably going to cut these cards and all the Cyberdark cards, but for now, I felt like this is just a cool engine to try and play and mess around with. But that does it for those, and then for the hand traps, double Ash, Double Effect Veiler. I don't really have any space for more, unless of course you want to cut one of the Nasters and the Veer. You can run these at 3. I do have another hand trap in the deck, so don't really worry about it. You probably know already what that is because it's Cyber Dragons. But yeah, this is your lineup of hand traps. And that does it for the monsters, 22 monsters if I remember correctly. Now we'll move on into the spells. So first off, for the Cyber spells, we'll run 3 copies of Cyber Emergency, double copies of Cyberdark Realm, 1 copy of Cyber Repair Plant, 1 copy of Cyberdark Horizon, and 1 copy of Cyber Rev System. Cyber Rev System is your monster reborn for your Cyber Dragons from, or special summon from hand. But mostly it's a monster reborn for your Cyber Dragons, or should I say Cyber Dragon names, because it doesn't revive anything that isn't Cyber Dragon by its name, so Nova and Infinity are out of the picture. It just revives any of those monsters that become Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard. Then we have the new card, Cybernetic Horizon. Now this card is absolutely amazing and gorgeous artwork, and honestly just an interesting card. The point of this card is that this is always treated as a Cyberdark card, so it can be searched by Claw. But the point is that this allowing you to send any 2 dragon or machine monsters with different attribute to your graveyard, 1 from your hand and 1 from your deck. So most of the time is going to be, if you search with Claw, you basically just send the other Claw from your deck, and then for example a Hertz from your hand, and then you get to add from your deck to your hand any Cyber or machine Cyber monster from your deck to your hand. So basically you add the Chimera, which is kind of like the point, and then you send from your deck to the graveyard, or should the extra deck to the graveyard, you send Cyber Eternity, so your fusion spells will not be interrupted, which is really cool. Now, I'm going to say this, you only need to run 1, because we're only going to ever resolve this once, because it's also lock you into machines for the turn you activate this effect, but when you activate this once, it's probably going to be the card that can kind of win you the duel, I guess, because you're going to get so much advantage if it resolves. And honestly, running this at 1 is not the end of the world, because you technically have 11 to 12 copies of this card in the deck, even including the Repair Plant and all of the other searches that we have that kind of get into this card. So this card as a one-off is mostly fine. Then Repair Plant, we all know what a Repair Plant does. If you have a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard, you add any light machine, which will be either Jizukiro or Galaxy Soldier, whatever you need. And then for the other new card, Cyberdark Realm, this card is your searcher for your Cyberdark card. So if you don't have any Cyberdark in your graveyard, you can add either Claw or Chimera, but if you have Chimera in your graveyard, you cannot add another copy of it. It's kind of like only adding the ones that you don't have in your graveyard. So if you already have a Claw in your graveyard, you cannot add another Claw, but you can add the Chimera, which is really cool. But mostly what I care about this card is not only the search, because that sometimes doesn't really matter. Mostly I care is the additional normal summon, which is really good and can just unclog the Chimera out of our hand, which is really, really powerful. We sometimes need the additional normal summon for Cyberdark cards, so that's why we run this card at 2. We want to see it, but we don't want to see it too much. So from the new card, I only run 5 cards, and if you also include, or should I say like 6 cards, also including the Claw. So overall, this is a small package that is really powerful. And then Cyber Emergency is your best searcher in the entire deck. You search any of your Cyber Dragon monsters, which is really strong. But that does it for these cards. And then for the additional cards, which are fusion spells, first we have 1 Cyber Load, 1 Overload, and 1 Power Bond. Power Bond finally can enter the deck because of the fact that you can actually search it. Power Bond is fusion from your hand or field. This is fusion from your field or graveyard, and this is field or banish, so you have the whole shebang package in here, which is really cool. Power Bond is the card that just, if you don't know, double a monster original attack when you fusion summon a machine monster, which is like you fusion summon a machine monster and you double its attack, but during the end phase you take damage equal to its original attack. So for example, if you have a 4,000 attack monster, you make it into 8,000, you will take 4,000 damage during the end phase, so that's something that you should pretty much know about if you don't know how the card works. But a great card, very, very good, and it's really, really great that we finally have the ability to use this. Overload Fusion, summon one of your Chimera attacks in your extra deck by banishing things from the, banishing cards from the graveyard, or should I say dark machines, or should I say fusion material for dark machine in the graveyard. Sorry, my apologies. That is really cool. And Cyberlord Fusion just to help you put cards back in your deck, which is really, really nice. So yeah, this card is really good as well as a one-off. So these are the only fusion spells you need to run. You don't really need to run more than one each. And then for the last spell that we run 3 copies of Machine Duplication. I am a little bit bummed that I still don't have the 3rd super rare. I was kind of looking everywhere to get a 3rd one, but for now I kind of only have 2 super rares and 1 common, kind of killing me in my eyes. But the point is, this card is the god card in the deck. Basically, this card allow you to target any of your small Cyber Dragons, and because they count as a Cyber Dragon in the deck on the field, you can summon 2 copies of this directly from your deck, which is absolutely amazing. And then for your traps, first off, Cybernetic Overflow, and then the honorary Cyber Dragon trap, Infinite Permanence, which, as everybody knows, I absolutely loves. Or at least from people who follow me on my channel, you know that I absolutely love this card. I'm always trying to run this hand trap. If you don't know and you're new to the channel, then there you go. You know that I love this card so much as a hand trap. As for Cybernetic Overflow, this card is absolutely amazing because you do have now also a level 3. So banishing level 5, level 4, level 3, level 2, and level 1 will allow you to pop 5 cards with this card, which is absolutely insane. But mostly you just use this as an interruption for going first. Or when it's like, you know, your opponent destroy this, you're also getting to search a Cyber Spell Trap from your deck to your hand, which is also nice as a follow-up, so that's why it's a really cool card. But that does it for the main deck. Now we'll move on into the extra deck. And for the extra deck, we'll start with the fusions first. We run 1 copy of Rampage, 1 copy of Twin, 1 copy of Fortress, 1 copy of Chimera Tech, Mega Fleet, and 1 copy of Eternity. Now, I am actually considering maybe cutting the Twin to completely and run a second copy of this, but there were some particular situations while I needed the Twin rather than the Rampage, because Rampage wasn't enough. Because Twin by itself can still attack as a 28 beat stick, which is already pretty big, so that's kind of cool. But Rampage is your main OTK tool, I guess, when you're trying to fusion summon, become a 4200 beat stick that can attack 3 times, which is really cool. And it's also deal with back row, so it's really powerful. But like I said, Cyber Twin is not a bad secondary option. Then we have Fortress and Mega Fleet, which this deal with Machine. This is deal with extra deck monsters. And Eternity, which is the card that you just send to the graveyard with Cybernetic Horizon, and then give all of your fusion plays. Basically, your opponent cannot interrupt them, or should I say, like, you know, cannot target them with card effects, which is really cool. So, yeah, your opponent cannot target your fusion monsters with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by opponent card effects. So that is really, really powerful and very, very good. And that does it for the Xyz. Now, Xyz fusions. Now we'll move on to the Xyz. 1 copy of Chronomaly Vamana, 1 copy of Constellar Pleiades, 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Nova, 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity, and 1 copy of AA Zeus Sky Thunder. Now, this lineup of Xyz monsters I am a little bit in a debate on, because I do want to say that I want to cut 2 of these cards maybe to add a second copy of Nova and a second copy of Infinity, but I felt like I just really, really want to have the space to just experiment with stuff, and that's why I decided to go with 1 Nova and 1 Infinity, even though mostly I missed the second Nova more than anything else, so I might cut the Pleiades for a second Nova, but we'll see. But the point is like, this is still mostly enough. Vamana is just a great card that even if you get locked, is still a machine negation, so it's really strong. Pleiades is just a bounce, and AA Zeus is just AA Zeus. You just, like, Xyz someone on top of something, which is really cool, so that is very, very powerful. I don't really need, I think I need to explain this too much. Then for the links, we have the 1 copy of Omirage and the 1 copy of Linkaribo, which are supposed to help you start your plays. 1 copy of Verte if you need it. 1 copy of the most annoying card in the entire deck, probably, which is Lina, the Light Charmer Lastrus, I think, and 1 copy of Seeger, which is another OTK machine in the entire extra deck. This card is absolutely annoying for a lot of decks to deal with, and I love this card so much, and I'm so happy that I'm able to play actually a Charmer in my extra deck, so that's why I'm really happy about that. But that does it for the extra deck, and does it for the deck profile, honestly, as a whole. Now, I'm going to say this right now, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to leave the Cyberdark package in the future. I might cut it and once again just put in kind of like the, what do you call it, the Dragoon package, but instead it will be the Destroy Phoenix Enforcer package, like, you know, the Destiny Hero equivalent. We'll see about that. I'm not 100% sure in either or, because I do think that the Cyberdark engine is really strong, but it has its own fair share of problems, which is sometimes you have too many bricks in the deck. So I'm not 100% sure about it. but I'll guess we'll have to wait and see for next update. But that's pretty much does it for the video. Like I said, hope you enjoyed for the deck profile, at least as a whole. Now let's move on into the next deck choices. Alright, so for the next deck choices, just like last deck profile, because I'm not at home for this week, at the time of this recording I'm still at home, but you know, for the time for this video release, I'm probably not going to be at home unless of course this video was delayed by a week. But for now, the four options that I have are still from the same video before, are going to be Vendrids, Magistus, PKs, and Virtual Worlds. These are going to be the four options that I'm going to present to you. You can choose from each one of these whatever you want. Like I said, it's going to come, in that previous video, it's going to come after Metamorphose, so it will take a while, but it will come in the end. It's just going to take a little bit of a while because, you know, sometimes I cannot control my own schedule, and there are things that happens in life. But that's pretty much it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do. Remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.